Hey kids, it's John Corabi, and you are watching CMS TV. Turn it up.
It is Chris Akin Presents. I, of course, am Chris Akin, and today on the show, one of my favorite guys in the entire world of rock and roll. You certainly remember him from the Scream and Motley Crue, and now the Dead Daisies, and he's done all these things, Union, and yet this is going to be the first time that we get a true new solo album from this guy, which is quite shocking, actually. He is probably my favorite vocalist out there today. He is the great John Corabi, back with a new record called New Day. April 24th is the date, and he's going to tell us all about it right now. So, John, welcome back to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me. Obviously, this just goes to show that you have very poor taste in everything. If I'm one of your favorite singers in whatever. Anyway, I'm just fucking with you.
I know, dude.
There's an edit.
There's one. Well, man, let's talk about New Day, man. I've only had it a day, so I've listened to it like 4 times. So I'm not even going to pretend that I've dug super deep into it and found these nooks and crannies and this and that. I will say this, though. It is exactly what I would expect from a John Corabi record, especially if you listen through your entire career, including the Unplugged stuff and the Motley stuff. This almost feels to me, and tell me if I'm completely crazy on this, like you wrote some songs with an acoustic guitar. They just somehow didn't feel like they could go somewhere with your main project, with Dead Daisies, but they were too good to not use, so you kind of collected them and fleshed them out. Is that kind of where we are?
Maybe somewhat to a degree, but to be honest with you, everything about this record has just been like this organic matter of circumstance. I had started writing. I planned on doing a record, a few years back during COVID. And if you remember, I released a single called Così Bella and Your Own Worst Enemy. But again, I'm not computer literate. So I was like, I'm really not totally grasping how this whole internet, social media, algorithms, I don't get it.
Sure.
So once we came out of COVID, I immediately went back to work doing shows because that's where most artists make their money nowadays. So I put the record on hold. Then I got asked to come back to the Daisies. Well, then last year, while I was on tour, Frontiers approached me about doing an album. And I was like, all right, okay. And so I said yes. And I had talked to Marty about doing it with me, and he said yes. And then it was weird, like shortly after getting the record deal, the Daisies management came to us and said, hey, we've been going pretty hard since 2013. We're going to take a year off.
Okay.
So organically, I was like, great. I can focus on this record, get it out, and just tour and promote this record, not be jumping back and forth. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I had a couple songs written already with Marty. And then once I was finished the Daisies tour, we just went full bore, got into a studio, and we sat down and we wrote and recorded the rest of this record. And, it's still not, the second single's out now, but the record's been done for like 4 months.
Okay.
The labels had it. And then they kind of figure out like, all right, we're going to go with a first single on this date, let it sit, and second single and whatever. The album doesn't even come out till April 24th.
Right.
But everything's been great so far. Like the reviews that I got on New Day have been awesome. This next single, When I Was Young, just came out yesterday. so far the early reviews and the feedback has been awesome. So it's been a pretty easy process, and now it's like, all right, well, I've got nothing better to do. I'm not doing anything with the Daisies this year, so we're just booking shows. We're getting ready to go to Europe. We got a bunch of dates with Tom Kiefer here in America, and so I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between Europe and the Tom Kiefer dates, and
Sure.
hopefully the calendar will fill up and I'll be very busy this year. But so far everything's been great, and it's just been like this really kind of no plan, uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And the one thing that I will say, Marty and I, we didn't really have a vision for the record. It was just, let's write, see where the songs go. But the one thing that I wanted to do, and Marty was all about it, was, and I'm sure you know this, like every artist, they do records or they put out a single or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's always these expectations, and I'll call them the suits, the powers
Sure.
that be. They
Sure.
always try to figure out where that, okay, what box can we put this record in? Is it heavy rock, classic rock, alternative rock? Is it Americana? Is it country? Is it old country, new country? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
And I was just like, kind of screw that, man. I grew up in a time, 60s and 70s where boxes didn't exist.
Right.
It was just music. And that's the only thing we tried to accomplish here, was just do a record that didn't really fall into any one box. It's just
Mm-hmm.
old school, man. It's just like, here's the
Sure.
record, enjoy it in its entirety. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? If there's a song in there you don't like, that's what they make skip buttons for.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and John, it's so interesting with your career, because if people really know your catalog, then they certainly understand that you are not a guy that only writes rock and metal. You're just not. I mean, some of your best work, in my opinion, are the softer tunes that you've written, the
Well,
Robin songs, or the
but what's
trash.
weird? Like all throughout my career, first of all, I started on an acoustic guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very comfortable with I probably have more acoustic guitars than I do electric guitars. But it's just, I have always, even from the Scream days, I've always just kind of sat around with an acoustic and mapped ideas out with the thought, like, okay, this one can be transitioned, or can obviously be heavier. The riff is a heavy riff, so this is going to fall into that genre or whatever. But like, if you go back, I was just it's funny, I just did a interview earlier and they said the exact same thing you did, that if you really go back and look at my career, I have had songs like on the Scream record. There was Father, Mother, Son.
Right.
Never Loved Her Anyway. The Motley record had Drift Away and Love Shine, Misunderstood, The Union, Robin's song, October Morning Wind. There was all these different elements, even through the Daisies. But
Mm-hmm.
all of the stuff that I've written, even the heavy stuff, was written on an acoustic guitar and then translated. So it, like this record, and I have to admit, like I for a minute I was a little nervous when I listened to the record, even myself. I go, I love this record, but I was worried about those certain fans that I have, for especially the Motley fans.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to want something heavier? But again, like I said, if you take away the bombastic instruments
Mm-hmm.
in all those old records I've done and just listen to the songwriting, I think this record is very much suited towards everything that I've ever done in the past.
Sure.
You know, just a different take on the, I guess, you know, making sure that I like my guitar tones weren't overly bombastic or whatever, and they suited the songs. You know,
Right.
so I love this record, dude.
I,
I'm beyond stoked.
I'm digging it, man.
Hey, you. Why are you watching this with commercials? Go commercial free and unlock exclusive content. Become a VIP today on Locals, Substack, or Rumble Premium. Stop waiting.
What is it when you're writing, John, that tells you that it can convert? Because if you're writing everything on acoustic, you know, I'm not a good musician at all, but I know a little tiny bit, you know, and I know when you write something that's kind of writes to your vision. But what you're saying is that it doesn't necessarily end up being the vision. It just ends up being like the skeleton. How do you know? How do you hear something on acoustic and say, well, that's not going to work for my solo record, but that could definitely work for the Daisies if we had bigger guitars and big drums and everything to it?
Well, if I can give you a few examples.
Please.
When I was working on the Scream record, I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's kind of a deep cut on the album, but it's a song called "Tell Me Why."
Oh, yeah.
It's almost got this kind of, I forget what it's called, a clavinet intro, and then the band kicks in heavy. I wrote that on an acoustic.
Oh.
I wrote "Drift Away" on an acoustic. And then as far as the Union stuff, even songs like "Do Your Own Thing," who do you think?
Yeah.
What is it called? You know, the who do you?
Who do
I
you
think
think
it's
you are?
called who do you think you are? Which
Yeah.
is a heavy riff. So I just detuned the acoustic guitar and I came up with the riff. And I'm like, oh, this is really cool. It could be heavy. I was hearing it. I don't know how to explain it, but "Do Your Own Thing" was written on an acoustic guitar. The Daisies, if I can use the Daisies as an example, "I'm Gonna Ride" from the last record that we did. I was just sitting around and I came up with the da and so I did it on acoustic, but I just like, okay, this is kind of it's kind of got an AC/DC cult vibe to it. You know what I mean? And I just heard it with electric guitars. So, but I'm very comfortable writing on an acoustic. That's like, then you hear songs like "Father, Mother, Son," or, you know, even on this record, "Love That'll Never Be," or "Good to Be Back Here Again." You're like, okay, this is something that's a little more melodic, or just you know, it suits itself for an acoustic interpretation. But I don't think there's any songs that I've ever written that I couldn't sit down and play on an acoustic guitar and entertain somebody.
Right. No, there's definitely, and like I said, my favorite songs from you are the Robbins song, and "Crash" is my all-time favorite song that you ever wrote. That song, of course, you wrote that song exactly when I was going through my divorce, so you can figure that became a strong one for me. But
And me too, buddy. That was the inspiration. I was going through a breakup, but you know, to be honest with you, that's a song that I did it on the acoustic record and I kind of put it to bed. But there's there's a couple of those like newer original songs that I feel could be done with electric guitars.
right.
So like "Open Your Eyes," I was kind of hearing it almost like what's the band? I'm having a brain fart right now. The band that did that song, "I'm a Creep."
Was that Radiohead?
Yes, thank you. Like I always heard that song like that, like almost like a creepy electric guitars
Sure.
going through it. And even Crash was one that I thought could be, could have a bit more bite to it. So they may be something in the future that I relook at and reintroduce as an electric version.
Okay.
But that just suited. At that point, I just wanted to do a solo record, and I didn't have a huge budget, so I basically set up shop in my house with a few friends. And I was even like, screw it. Let's not even use drums. Let's just percussion. It's easy. I can mic it. And we just laid everything down.
Right. It's good stuff, man. Well, dude, let's dig into the record here. We don't want to talk about your history as much as we want to sell a few records here. I always start with my favorite track. You already mentioned it once. Good to be back here again. Just an excellent song, man. Just the lyrical piece to that is just amazing, man. It's one of your best lyrical songs I think you've ever written.
Thank you. And you know what's funny? I had a Troy Laquetta. It just asked me, got it like a month ago. He goes, dude, like, are you an AA guy?
Okay.
And no, not really. And he goes, like, where did the lyrics for that song come from? And it was so random. And it's hilarious. My wife still shakes her head when she listens to it. But I just got a new acoustic guitar,
Right.
and I literally took it out of the case, tuned it up, and I was sitting on my couch, and I just started strumming it, and I came up with that little chord progression. And then I sat down while I was strumming it, and for some weird reason, like the universe gave me this gift. And the first thing I thought of was, Jesus, forgive me for all of my sins.
Right.
And I put the guitar down. I got my computer. My wife left the room. And like about 20 minutes later, I went into our bedroom and I played her the song and I let her read the lyrics as I was singing them to her.
Right.
I go, what do you think of this? She goes, and all she could say, she goes, are you shitting me right now? You literally just wrote that in like 30 minutes.
Wow.
So I was like, yeah. And I put it on my phone. And then I took it to Marty the next day. And I go, what do you think of this idea? He goes, pull up a chair. We're going to record it right now. That's great. Like that needs to be on the record. So I don't know where it came from. It was just literally me just strumming on a brand new acoustic guitar that I wanted. And I sat and I wrote the song. I wrote the lyrics. I don't think the whole thing took me an hour.
Oh, wow. That's great.
And then I played it for Marty and we recorded it, and it was awesome. Marty played some keys and his son, and we laid it down and finished it. So I couldn't tell you, man. That just came out of nowhere.
Just happens. Well, let me ask you about one. I mean, I could ask you about every song on here. I mean, I think this record is fantastic. I'm
Thank
always interested with you, though, and you always pick the right cover. When you do covers, whether it's mostly the Daisies, but obviously now in this case with Everyday People, it is the perfect cover, much like the Fox on the Run was the perfect cover for your voice. What is it about Everyday People that you heard that you were like, yeah, that makes sense for me?
Well, obviously, Sly Stone had just passed away.
Okay, yeah.
Not that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was weird because I've got Sly and the Family Stone greatest hits on my phone. So I listen to that thing all the time. And I've always loved that song, but for nerdy, stupid reasons. Like it's always been a brilliant song. And every time I hear it, like that, dance to the music, it just reminds me of when I was a kid.
Sure.
cutting school, stealing quarters from my mom's purse and going and playing pinball and jukebox the whole day. You know what I mean? But the thing that amazed me about that, and I just also watched a documentary, which I highly recommend.
Okay.
I think it's on, it's either on MGM or Paramount, one of them. But there's a Sly and the Family Stone documentary.
Okay.
And I watched it, and I just always thought Sly and the Family Stone was like the original Prince.
Yeah.
But he was like a multicultural band. He had white dudes, his family, like all these different people in his band. But he was able to do something. He had power, electric guitars, he had melody, but he was able to cross again that no box thing. Like, is he a black artist? Does he appeal more to the white? Does he, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just broke all barriers. But the thing that was always amazing to me, and I don't know if you play or not.
Well,
Okay,
tinker,
okay.
not for real.
So I want you, if you can figure this out, like if you get the original version, it's in the key of, I believe, G.
Okay.
And the thing that blew me away about that song is that they start boom, 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 bam, bam, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if you listen to it, it never changes. The chord never changes. It's the exact same it's like 2.5 minutes long.
Wow.
But the melody that he sings for the verse is so good that it's like a chorus. Then they have the pre-chorus, and that's like a chorus. Then they have
Right.
the chorus. Then they have another chorus after the chorus. And I just like, how genius was this guy that he was able to break all the barriers? You couldn't put him into a box.
Right.
He wasn't a black artist. He wasn't a white artist. He fit no box. And he had 2 songs that he just played one chord through the whole song, and he was able to make 2 #1 hits out of just one chord.
One chord. Wow.
And I'm like, it's insane. So
That is.
yeah, it was like, so we did a little bit of a different treatment. I actually added some different chords for a guitar solo. And just to give it a little more oomph,
Sure.
I kind of did it like T-Rex bang a gong.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like Sly and the Family Stone and T-Rex kind of thrown into a pot and thrown out there. But what a brilliant songwriter he was.
Sure.
And just for a little other Barstool trivia, the other song that I'm talking about that he used one chord in is Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's one chord, key of E, the whole way, never changes.
See, now I got to re-listen to both to reanalyze it.
Yeah, it's actually quite brilliant that Everyday People is one chord, G. The only thing he does is he puts a G, 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 and then it's a sus on the G, and then he goes right back to G again. So it never changes the whole song. It's one chord.
Right. That's
So I'm
awesome.
like, kind of awesome.
Hell yeah. Well, dude, obviously you're going to have this new record, New Day, out in April. We try to tell everybody here not to just stream it. It's okay if they stream it because they're going to. But if you guys are going to survive, people need to buy something. Record, vinyl, hat, whatever it would be, shirt. Where is the best place for us to send people to buy something?
Follow the chaos. The Classic Metal Show is live on X. Stream all the episodes for free, watch the show live every Saturday night, or just get there and find out what is going on with the Classic Metal Show. Get your metal feed, x.com/CMSRocks.
Well, there's if they go to either johncorabi.com,
Okay.
uh, there's a bunch of links there. There's the pre-order bundles with hoodies and t-shirts and hats and all that stuff. But John Corabi official Facebook, John Corabi official Instagram, all the links are all in the, I guess you call them headers,
Yeah.
where you can click on it and pre-order and, you know, all that good stuff. But I'm really excited about it, dude. Like I cannot wait to get out on the road, start playing shows with this awesome band that I have.
Yeah, your all-star band.
Yeah, it's again, just didn't plan on it. It just organically happened, and I couldn't be happier. So it's very very cool. I can't wait to get out and start playing this stuff live.
And you're going out on such a perfect tour for you, going out with Kiefer. You know, musically, that tour just works. That's so perfect.
Yeah, and I've known Tom. Tom and I grew up in Philadelphia.
Sure.
So Tom and I have been pals, God, late 70s,
Right.
like 77, 76, 77, 78. We were kicking around in the same club circuit. And even at a few times, we've actually played together. And it was, yeah. So I've known Tom. It's going to be like the Philly cheesesteak tour. You know what I mean? We're
Nice.
just going to, you know, and then all the guys in his band and all the guys in my band, we all live in Nashville, so we all know each other.
Sure.
So it's just going to be a lot of fun. Tom's great live. So hopefully we're up to the challenge of warming the audience up before he gets out and destroys everything. So it's going to be awesome.
Can't wait, man. Well, one more time. John Corabi's new release is called New Day. It is out April the 24th. Everybody should pre-order it now so that you have it on the day of release. That's how it should work. And John, this is always fun, man. Thanks for joining me here on Chris Akin Presents.
Thank you. And I'm very proud of myself. I didn't say fuck once.
Nice.